Hey Virgs, how's it going? I just had to do like one more round. It only felt right, you know. Like it does. It feels like a final chapter of a book. It's only appropriate that this would be the last chapter. Okay, let's see what we have for my Virgs. There's a part of me that is very nervous about doing this read. But I have a feeling it'll be entertaining. What? Are you kidding me? Alright. Let's see what we can get here for my Virgs. One more card. Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay. We have the Destroyer and the Siren. The Crone, the Orphan, the Stone, Anima Mundi, and the Forest. I don't know why, but I feel like you guys I feel like y'all are like once upon a time in a dark forest like trying to write a story. Okay, let's see what else we have here besides our once upon a time. I mean, there's definitely an idea of completion, right? I mean, it feels like the last day of school almost. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. And God. This idea of like knowing, you know, of just like at the end of the year you went through all the lessons together, you know, like at the end of the year it feels like this, like it's like summertime, it's hot, it's muggy, you know, like, and it feels like this like closing out of a cycle, you know, just this like getting to know someone, you know, and you know, just like feeling this weird like anchored in connection to this like otherwise complete stranger, you know. But I mean, that's the beauty of connection, is that, you know, like you can be connected to people out of nowhere, and it can be a beautiful thing, you know, like it doesn't have to be some traumatic experience. Like we create trauma more often than not, like trauma to people is some strange like facade of trauma. Do you know what I mean? Like what like would otherwise be normal relationships, like normal like people just being normal people. Like I don't know. You know, like maybe it's just because I grew up in a small town in the South. I don't know. Like why it seems to be this like weird concept for people that like people are just people, you know. Like have you not had people in your family where you're like, yeah, that, you know, that's so and so, he's a dick, but you know, you get used to him. You know, like has that not been something that you've not heard like always? Like you just like people are people, you know what I mean? Like it's not our job to turn them into something that they're not. And I feel like that's kind of like the in the end, like the end. People don't have to be anything that they're not, and it's okay, you know. it's all about like just getting to know everyone and understanding people and being there for people, because hashtag facts, man. Like, family, what? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many people in this world who are alone in the world, but I think there are some who understand what it means to be alone, and I think there are others who understand what it means to constantly be surrounded by people. I mean, it's almost like that opposite end of the spectrum of the experience, right? But really and truly, I mean, I get the feeling that there's just this idea of like, but I feel like just saying, like, I get it, I know, like, I see, it makes sense. And then you have this, which I feel like is jacked from, the forest, the destroyer, and the siren. So what this is saying, is kind of that idea of like, I mean, the forest is uncharted territory. It's places that you haven't been, paths not yet trailed, blazed. Why do I always fuck that up? I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. It's just kind of this idea of like going through, the little portal into the dark forest of the mystic unknown. Because I mean, that's what a forest always represents to me, anyways. It's just that idea of like, oh, it's where all the magical, mythical creatures live. They live in the forest. Some people are like, oh, forests are terrible places. But if you ask me, forests are fantastic. Like, but yeah, I mean, it's just that idea, like going into the forest. The siren and the destroyer coming in as a counterpart again. Coming in with almost the exact same storyline of, just like feeling the need to like break out of what was into, what could be. But that being said, it does feel like it's coming in with an idea of understanding, and in your own weird way, like a recognition. It's a Virgo thing, I'm telling you. You'd rather roll over in your grave than admit defeat. But even you, sometimes, can be found wrong. Five of Wands, the Sun, and the Two of Cups. I mean, illumination, this is kind of that idea of like an illumination, having an understanding of like the whole picture, and like in this illumination, I think experiencing once again this feeling of, I want to say, just familiarity. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something familiar. That's all. Like, I'll say that, like, there's just something very familiar. And no sooner do I say that, and it's fucking Twilight. I just, like, can't escape Twilight. But it is that idea of, like, of imprint and, just closeness, like closeness through familiarity. I mean, there is just this idea of like feeling seen, like wasn't that like one of the big things in your reads for a hot minute? It was like, I just want somebody who could see me the way that I see them, because you could always see everybody, but nobody could ever see you. I feel like you got what you asked for. And it wasn't the fluffy, romantic, like Lifetime storyline. You know, like it was just somebody seeing you. The Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, and the Three of Wands. I mean, I guess, you know, again, it's this idea of, I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is, you know, like, taste of this knowledge that I have, if you can, you know, if you can handle it. I feel like that's kind of been, you know, like a theme, you know, just like, let me share with you again. You know, let's rehearse these lines one more time, you know. Like, let's get this story straight. And I think you're just kind of seeing it finally, like seeing it for what it is, understanding it, you know, because it has been in a weird way. Like you've had this connection with this person. I mean, like there's really, like, there's no other way to explain it. Like, I don't know what else to say about it other than to say, like, there's just been this weird connection, you know, that just has felt anchored. It's felt anchored through a lot of otherwise tumultuous experiences, you know. It's been an anchor. It's been that constant thing to, like, go back to when nothing else made sense, you know. That's what, you know, like, that's what that feels like. And so it has, in a weird way, felt very, like, oddly familiar. Ugh. I'm not crying about this anymore. But, you know, I mean, it's felt otherworldly. Okay, yes, there has been this idea of just, like, feeling like this doesn't feel normal. Like, this is not, you know, like, it feels like some sort of fantasy, you know, like some sort of, like, surreal, you know, like mythical creatures, like werewolves and mermaids and mythical forests, you know. Like, it's all felt very weird, you know, and yet it doesn't negate the fact that it's like recorded in time, like literally recorded in time, you know. Like, it's a story that has played itself out, and it's like, it's almost like you finished writing the story. It does. It's got that, like, end of the school year, you know, like, we finished the mural, we finished the story, like, now we can read it and see what we did, you know, like when everybody stands at the end of class and they have their own little thing, their own little project that they've completed. You know, I mean, it's like, it's what it feels like right now, you know. It's just like, okay, like, in the end, like, this is the reality of it. You know, take all of the drama and all of the trying to play it cool and trying to be, you know, fucking Dane Cook, because nobody wants to be Dane Cook or a fucking duck, you know. Like, and it's like, okay, if you're a real person and I'm a real person, and this has been a real experience, you know, and just, like, seeing it for what it is and acknowledging it, you know, like, and, like, not having it end in some sort of, like, angry way. you know, just like letting it end peacefully. Because it's so weird. You know, like it's so fucking weird. It's been a weird experience. Unlike anything I've ever experienced. Okay, we have the Hermit, Judgment, Page of Swords, and the Magician. Dropped out in the major arcanas. Almost all of these are major arcanas. 4. But yeah, I mean, the idea here is, I mean, and I feel like the Hermit has showed up in your reads a couple of times, yeah? Of just like pulling away and like facing your demons and like wondering, you know, like, who am I through all of this? And, you know, like, am I ever going to be able to make it out of these cycles that I keep finding myself in? I mean, like, this has just been like a super intense, a lot to digest experience, you know? And it's like you've had to really pull away. And I want to say, you know, in a way, honestly, like, pass judgment on yourself, because I feel like you spent most of your time passing judgment on other people. I mean, that's like a shadow side of a Virg, you know. You guys are some of those like judgmental people on the planet, and you have a lot of difficulty sometimes understanding the concept of diversity, because you think there's one way, there's one right, and it's mine. You know? And so I feel like part of that has had to be you, like, pulling away and really just like seeing everything for what it is. And I want to say, like, rising up in the truth of it all. You know, and pulling on your magic for whatever that means for you, you know? I mean, like, I feel like there's been an evolution. I feel like it just feels like this, like, completion of a school year, you know? Like, we went through it together. It's been real, man. I don't know. Okay, I'll do some more Santa Marta. I almost feel like there's, like, not really much more to say, you know? Like, maybe I should just pull an archetype. It's a little bit short, but... Oh my god, okay, hold on. So there was, like, 4 there. No, doing 4. 2. Oh, 3. God damn it, seriously. Alright, the Vision, the Offering, and the Medallion. I mean, I guess for this I would say I would put Anima Mundi with the Vision, you know, and just say that it's almost like this, like, you see the big picture, because Virgo, another, like, shadow side of my Virgos, and I love y'all so much, but seriously, you get so hung up on details that you get lost, like, you loophole. I feel like that's even been a theme in some of your reads, is like you get sucked off to the side and you run in circles and you get stuck there, and like you could be all the way down there but you're still over here, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like you got, like, sucked out of your little detailed wormhole and, like, into an illumination of, like, the bigger picture of it all, you know? And not just the bigger picture of like, what was going on, but, like, the bigger picture of yourself, you know? I mean, I just feel like there's this really big understanding that you're coming into. It's helping you to anchor in yourself again, and I think feel a little less like the orphan, and a little bit more like somebody who comes from a solid foundation. I feel like maybe part of the lesson that you've been learning and surrounding yourself with people who don't necessarily have a foundation, because you wanted to come in and be a foundation for people. It was just kind of like to prove your own worth, from your like if you were always kind of felt like the outsider. Like I'm a part of this family, but I'm not a part of this family. You know what I mean? And so you wanted to try and like create a family, but what you learned is that there's a big difference between the way people behave according to the upbringing that they had privilege to. And an unfortunate truth of our, society, like modern day society, is that people who have lacked foundations, people who have experienced a lot of abuse, are typically caught in socioeconomic cycles that are, full of drugs that help to ease the pain, but never the opportunity to face their trauma and move past it. So they get caught in cycles. And I think that you needed to see the cycle, and I think that you needed to see that you had a way out. And in part of that, in seeing your way out, is seeing that your upbringing showed you something different than what other people saw. Because it was frustrating to you when they couldn't see your value. But you're putting yourself in a situation where you weren't surrounding yourself with people who would value you, because that was never anything they were taught to value. And I feel like there's an element of remembering yourself, who you are. Okay, and then the medallion and the offering is an idea, and I feel like that was in one of your other reads, when it was like the King of Pentacles in the gym, and it was like trusting someone with you, that was your treasure, what you were offering was the somebody, actually trusting someone with you. And that's what this feels like again, is like, I know I'm a prize, I know my worth, I know who I am, I know where I come from. In fact, I know so more now than I did before. And there's just been some weird shit, that hasn't made any sense until it all seemed to make perfect sense. And it's on some like mythical type story time shit, but that's what happens when you bond with a writer. You gotta write the story out, it's a story to be told. So, thanks for being here with me through all these reads. When it's all said and done, if it hadn't been for the direct focus in the beginning, I don't think that I would have really been able to tap into it, because I was just at a really bad place. And the focus that you offered, I think, gave me that lifeline. You know what I mean? And so it didn't start out bad, and it wasn't all bad, and it's been crazy, but it's been real. So, yeah. Thanks for everything, and take care.